Imagine a land so vast and defiant that it broke free from empires, forged its own nation, and then willingly gave it up for a price. In the heart of North America, Texas wasn't just a state. It was a republic born from blood, betrayal, and boundless ambition. But behind the legends of the Alamo and Lone Stars lies a darker tale of scheming speculators, stolen lands, and a power play that reshaped the continent. How did this rugged frontier become its own country, only to spark wars that echoed across history? And what hidden forces drove it all? This is the untold story of Texas, the republic that almost changed everything. Long before the cowboys and oil barons, Texas was a wild mosaic of ancient cultures and untamed frontiers. Picture this: vast plains stretching endlessly under scorching suns, where nomadic tribes like the Comanche and Apache roamed as fierce warriors on horseback, masters of a land rich in buffalo herds and hidden rivers. For thousands of years, these indigenous peoples, from the Caddo in the east, with their mound-building societies, to the Karankawa along the Gulf Coast, thrived in harmony with the harsh beauty of the terrain. They traded, hunted, and built communities that pulsed with life, far from the eyes of distant empires. But empires have a way of intruding. In the early 1500s, Spanish explorers crashed into this world like uninvited storms. Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca, shipwrecked in 1528, wandered Texas for years, surviving among native tribes and weaving tales of golden cities that ignited European greed. By the 1700s, Spain had planted its flag, establishing missions like San Antonio de Valero, later known as the Alamo, to convert souls and claim territory against French rivals. These outposts were more than religious hubs. They were strategic fortresses in a chess game of colonial power. Yet, the Spanish hold was tenuous, plagued by raids from the Comanche, who saw these intruders as threats to their sovereignty. As the 19th century dawned, the winds of revolution swept across the Americas. Mexico broke free from Spain in 1821, inheriting Texas as part of its new republic. But Mexico's leaders faced a dilemma. This northern frontier was sparsely populated, vulnerable to American expansion. Enter the empresarios, bold land agents like Stephen F. Austin, granted vast tracts to lure settlers. Austin, the father of Texas, promised cheap land and opportunity, drawing thousands of Anglo-Americans southward. They came with dreams of cotton plantations, fueled by enslaved labor, clashing with Mexico's anti-slavery stance. What started as a pragmatic invitation soon sowed seeds of discord. These settlers brought their own laws, language, and loyalties, transforming Texas into a powder keg of cultural collision. Little did Mexico know, they were inviting wolves into the fold. By the 1830s, tensions simmered like a Texas summer. Mexican President Antonio López de Santa Anna tightened control, dissolving the federal constitution and demanding loyalty. Anglo settlers, or Texians as they called themselves, chafed under these edicts. They wanted autonomy, free trade, and the right to own slaves, rights Mexico increasingly denied. Whispers of rebellion turned to roars when Santa Anna sent troops to enforce his will. The spark ignited in Gonzales, where settlers defiantly flew a flag emblazoned with "Come and take it" over a cannon Mexico demanded back. Skirmishes escalated into full-blown revolution in 1835. Texians declared independence, forming a provisional government and rallying under leaders like Sam Houston, a rugged Tennessean with a checkered past. But glory was laced with tragedy. In March 1836, Santa Anna's army besieged the Alamo, a crumbling mission-turned fortress. For 13 days, defenders like Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie held out against overwhelming odds. The fall of the Alamo was brutal, nearly all 200 Texians slaughtered, their bodies burned in pyres. Santa Anna meant it as a warning, but it backfired, birthing the rallying cry, "Remember the Alamo." The massacre fueled Texian fury. Just weeks later, at Goliad, Santa Anna ordered the execution of over 400 captured prisoners, including Colonel James Fannin. These atrocities painted Santa Anna as a tyrant, galvanizing support from the United States. Volunteers flooded in, smuggling arms and funds. Then came the decisive blow. On April 21, 1836, at San Jacinto, Houston's outnumbered forces launched a surprise attack. In 18 minutes of chaos, they routed the Mexican army, capturing Santa Anna himself. Forced to sign treaties recognizing Texas independence, he slunk back to Mexico in disgrace. The Republic of Texas was born not from noble ideals alone, but from a brutal calculus of revenge and opportunism. Yet this fledgling nation faced immediate peril, massive debt, hostile natives, and a vengeful Mexico refusing to acknowledge its sovereignty. Independence was sweet, but survival was savage. The Republic of Texas, spanning from the Rio Grande to modern-day Wyoming, was a giant on paper but a pauper in reality. Sam Houston, elected president, navigated treacherous waters, courting European recognition while fending off Mexican incursions. The Texas Rangers emerged as legendary enforcers, battling Comanche raids that terrorized settlements. These conflicts weren't just frontier skirmishes. They were genocidal campaigns, displacing native tribes through force and broken treaties, clearing land for cotton kings and speculators. Politically, Texas teetered between isolation and annexation. Murray B. Lamar, Houston's successor, dreamed of empire, expanding westward, even eyeing California. But reality bit hard. The Republic's currency plummeted, inflation soared, and corruption festered. Darker still were the shadows of slavery. Texas legalized it fully upon independence, becoming a haven for Southern planters fleeing debts. Enslaved people toiled on sprawling plantations, their labor fueling an economy built on human suffering. This entrenched the institution, setting the stage for future divisions. The power shift came with annexation debates. Many Texians favored joining the United States for protection and prosperity, but Northern abolitionists opposed adding a slave state. In 1844, President John Tyler pushed through a joint resolution, annexing Texas just before leaving office. James K. Polk's election sealed it. Texas joined as the 28th state in 1845, but this ignited the Mexican-American War. Mexico, viewing annexation as theft, clashed with U.S. forces. The war's spoils, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ceded vast territories, but at a cost, thousands dead, and deepened U.S. sectional rifts over slavery. Texas's entry tipped the balance, accelerating the march toward civil war. In this era of conflict, Texas wasn't just a pawn, it was a catalyst, reshaping borders and destinies through blood and ambition. Post-annexation, Texas exploded in growth, but turmoil loomed. As part of the Union, it benefited from federal troops quelling native resistance, opening lands for railroads and ranches. Cattle drives became epic sagas, with cowboys herding longhorns north to markets, birthing the mythic Wild West. Yet, beneath the romance lay exploitation. Mexican Tejanos lost lands through shady deals and violence, their heritage erased in the Anglo surge. The Civil War shattered illusions. Texas seceded in 1861, joining the Confederacy, driven by cotton wealth and slavery fears. Battles like Galveston saw fierce fighting, but the war's end brought Reconstruction's bitter pill: federal occupation, freed slaves' rights, and economic ruin. Carpetbaggers and scalawags clashed with defiant locals, fostering resentment that lingered for generations. The true rise began with Black Gold. In 1901, the Spindletop Gusher erupted near Beaumont, unleashing an oil boom that transformed Texas. Wildcatters like Howard Hughes struck fortunes, turning dusty towns into booming hubs. Companies like Texaco and Exxon rose, fueling America's industrial machine. Railroads crisscrossed the state, linking ports like Houston to global trade. By the mid-20th century, Texas diversified. Aerospace with NASA in Houston, tech in Austin, finance in Dallas. Political power followed. Lyndon B. Johnson ascended to the presidency, wielding Texas influence in Washington. This era wasn't without darkness. Labor strikes crushed, environmental scars from drilling, and racial tensions exploding in events like the 1917 Houston riot. Yet through it all, Texas forged an identity of resilience, turning adversity into unparalleled economic might. Today, Texas stands as an economic colossus, its GDP rivaling nations like Canada. Oil still pulses through its veins, but innovation drives the future. Silicon Hills in Austin births tech giants, while Houston's medical center leads global health. Ports handle billions in trade, making Texas a gateway to the world. Politically, it's a battleground, red roots clashing with blue urban swells, influencing national elections and policies on immigration, energy, and guns. Echoes of the past haunt. Border controversies, rooted in the Republic's disputed boundaries, fuel debates over walls and migrants. Environmental crises, like hurricanes amplified by climate change, expose vulnerabilities from unchecked growth. Inequality persists. Booming metros contrast with rural poverty, and the legacy of slavery manifests in systemic disparities. Texas's independent streak, seen in secession talks or grid failures, reminds us of its lone republic days. It matters today because Texas embodies America's contradictions, opportunity and exclusion, innovation and inertia. As the U.S. grapples with division, Texas's story warns of what happens when ambition overrides unity. Texas's journey from frontier outpost to sovereign republic and powerhouse state is a saga of human will clashing with fate. It was never just about land or oil. It was about the relentless pursuit of freedom, fortune, and identity, often at great cost to others. The untold threads of betrayal, resilience, and reinvention weave a tapestry that challenges us. What price do we pay for independence? In a world of shifting powers, Texas whispers a timeless truth. Empires rise not from soil alone, but from the dreams and darkness within us all. As the lone star shines on, one question lingers. In chasing our own republics,